Hello and welcome, I'm your CodeMonkey, and here is a free complete course on making a game from start to finish. If you've always wanted to learn how to make a game, or if you already know the basics but want to see how to organize a more complex project, then this video is for you. It's perfect for both beginners and more intermediate users. This is a completely free course video, but it has the same level of quality as my paid courses or my Steam games. You can download the project files to follow along or inspect the final game. You can even play the final game directly on Steam. We're going to start completely from scratch and build a really awesome game with tons of systems and mechanics. Building this design requires working with lots of Unity and C# features, so this is a really awesome project for you to learn. After following this course and learning all of these techniques, you will be able to build all kinds of games in all kinds of genres. This is going to involve learning about the basics of Unity and C#, learning how to make a character controller, physics raycasts, learn all about C# interface and events, using scriptable objects, handling UI, the new input system, and lots more. Very importantly, everything that we're going to do here is going to be focused on writing good, easy to understand, clean code. Meaning that I will not be teaching you bad practices that some beginner tutorials teach. The code that we're going to write here is production quality code. This is not a throwaway demo. The quality of the code and the structure of the game that we're going to build is on the same level of quality as my own Steam games. As you can see from the video link, this is indeed a complete, very thorough course, so don't try to watch this whole thing in one sitting. Take your time, take it slow, and just focus on learning. There are chapters for every single lecture in the video. Here's a quick overview of the entire course, all the steps that we're going to take to reach the final polished game. So first of all, we're going to start completely from scratch by selecting a Unity version and creating a brand new project. With that new project, we will then learn all about the basics of the Unity interface and set up a layout. Then the other important part is Visual Studio, which is where we're going to be writing all of our code. After that comes an extremely important lecture all about coding style and naming rules. Like I said, the code in this course is on the same level of quality as my Steam games, so having proper naming rules and good code style is paramount. Next, we're going to download and import all the assets that we're going to use in the course. Everything is included so you can follow along with every step of the way. With the assets imported, we're going to set up some quick post-processing just to make the game look good. Then for our first piece of logic, we're going to make a simple character controller. With that logic working, we will then implement a proper character visual with the included assets. Next, we're going to learn the basics of animation and the animator component. And with that, we're going to make our player really come alive with some simple but really nice animations. Then we're going to install the Cinemachine package. This isn't actually used too much in this course, but I still wanted to include it because it is such a useful tool, so I do want you to know about it. After that comes another extremely important lecture with regards to writing some good clean code. We're going to do a nice refactor to replace the legacy input manager with the brand new input system. Learning how to refactor is an extremely important and very valuable skill that will massively improve the quality of your code. With that done, we're going to implement some nice collision detection to make sure our character doesn't walk through walls. Next, we're going to create the very first kitchen counter and make a script to handle how to interact with it. Then we're going to learn all about C# events and create a proper interact input. Next, we're going to build a selected counter visual, which will require us to learn about the extremely useful singleton pattern. With the counters working, we're going to start working on the kitchen objects themselves. So these are going to be the ingredients and the plates. We're going to use scriptable objects to define all of the types. Then a very important part of our design is each kitchen object will have to be placed somewhere, so we're going to take some time to really think about the best way to achieve that, all while writing some good clean code. Next, we're going to enable the player to pick up an object. In doing so, we're going to learn about C# interfaces. Then we're going to make a container counter. This is from where we can spawn new objects. With that, we will enable the player to pick up objects and drop them anywhere where there's space. Then we're going to make the cutting counter. This one enables the player to cut an ingredient into slices. So to do that, we're going to make an alternate interact action. And for handling the cutting, we're going to once again use scriptable objects to define a proper cutting recipe. Then we're going to learn about a really awesome Unity feature, World Canvases, and use that to display a nice progress bar for our cutting progress. After that is a quick lecture, just going to make a very useful generic script to make any object look at the camera. Next, for another counter, we're going to build a trash bin. This is where the player can drop objects to destroy them. Then the stove counter. This one is going to be quite a bit complex. We're going to create recipes for cooking and for burning. We're going to learn how to make a basic state machine and handle timers. Next, we're going to make the plates counter. This is a simple counter that just spawns a bunch of plates. After that, we're going to make some custom logic on the plate to be able to hold other objects. With that logic working, we're going to build a complete visual for all the objects that can exist on the plate. Then make a nice UI element on the plate itself to showcase the icons of what exactly is on that plate. Afterwards, we're going to make the very last counter, the delivery counter. This is where we drop the completed plates. And in this lecture, we're also going to learn about the Unity shader graph and make a quick, simple custom shader. Then we're going to build the delivery manager class that generates the recipes that the customers are requesting. Next, we're going to build a UI to showcase the waiting recipes. After that comes something pretty crucial. We're going to add some music and then add some sound effects for all kinds of game actions. With that, the game will be almost done. So next, we're going to build a proper game start and a game end. Then make a simple main menu and handle scene loading. After that, handle creating a basic pause window. Then make an options menu, enable the player to modify the audio levels and rebind keys. After that, we're going to enable menu navigation with a controller. And in the end, as usual, comes the polish stage. So we're going to add all kinds of small tweaks and effects to make the game feel really great. Like I've said many times, polish is what separates good games from great games. After all of that, we will have our final completed project. So as you can see, you will learn about tons of topics by following this course. Also, let me point out, one of the reasons why I chose this specific design is because my next free course will be on taking the game that we're going to build here and make it multiplayer. So if you've ever wanted to make multiplayer games, then that course will be excellent for you. Definitely take your time following this course. The multiplayer free course should hopefully be out next month, or if you're watching this in the future, check the links in the description. Although that multiplayer video won't be starting from where this course ends, so definitely make sure you watch this one. Now, if you're new to the channel, then welcome, and here's a bit about me and my credentials, or why you should listen to what I have to teach. My name is Hugo, and I've been running this CodeMonkey YouTube channel for 5 years now. In total, almost 700 videos on all kinds of topics, including tons of tutorials sharing my knowledge to help you on your game dev journey. I'm also a professional indie game developer, making games for over 10 years with 8 successful games published on Steam, so what I'm teaching here is based on a lot of years of experience making a lot of games. Just like with my paid courses, I'm always going to be in the comments answering questions, so if you get stuck at a particular point or need extra clarification on something, go ahead, post a comment and I'll do my best to help. Do make sure you include a timestamp of what you're referring to. I will also be updating the pinned comment with any frequently asked questions that I see, so actually right now go ahead, pause the video and scroll down a bit just to look at that comment. Since on YouTube I cannot update the video after it's published, I will be updating that comment over the next months and years with anything that comes up. Also, I've been running this channel for 5 years, and in that time I've made almost 700 videos, so there's lots of topics that I've covered separately in more detail. All of those videos are linked in the description. Throughout this course, I will be focused on building this specific game using whatever it takes to build it, meaning, for example, when we get to using C# events, I will teach the basics about how they work in order to achieve what we want to build, but if you then want to learn about C# events in more detail, definitely go watch the dedicated video. And I also made a page on my website for this course. It contains a link to download all of the project assets. You can also download the complete project files for every single lecture. So if you get stuck at any point, you can download the code at that lecture and compare with your own. There's also references to all of the videos, and I will also be including frequently asked questions for each lecture. So definitely keep that page open in a second tab as you follow along this course. Now, this free course took a ton of work to make, so I really hope you find this video helpful. Go ahead and hit the like button if it helps you. It's a small thing, but it generally does help this video on the YouTube algorithm. Making this course was a ton of work, and by making it completely free, it means it will obviously never make as much money as if I had just made this a paid course. I'm perfectly okay with that decision, with the hopes that by making it free, it will reach and help many more people. I'm also a big believer that education should be free, so if you can't afford one of my paid courses, like if you're just a kid or going through a rough time, I still want you to have access to high quality education so you can achieve your game dev dreams. One easy way you can help me for free is simply by liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and just watching this course. That will hopefully help push this video on the YouTube algorithm and help it reach many more people. Another free way to support what I do is I'm currently working on my next Steam game called Total World Liberation. You can wishlist the game on Steam. Wishlists matter a lot for Steam visibility, so just by doing that you will be helping me. And just in case you can't afford it, and you find this free course useful, you can also support what I do in a few other ways. I spent a bunch of money making this course. I hired an artist for the 3D assets so that I had the rights to distribute them so that you can download and follow along. Same thing for the music and sound effects, the logo, and the cost to upload the game to Steam. So I would like to at least not lose money on this project. Hopefully there's enough of you who can afford to help me so that I can at least break even. And for one way you can support is I added this exact same course on my website as a regular paid course. Although I want to be very clear, there is absolutely no difference between this free video and the paid course. There is absolutely nothing behind any kind of paywall. All of the lectures are free, all of the asks are free, everything is free. You don't have to pay for anything if you can't afford it or you just don't want to. The paid version is essentially a donation. The only difference is this free YouTube video has regular YouTube ads, whereas the paid version on the website doesn't have any ads. That's it, that's the only thing. So the only reason why I made that paid version is just in case some of you can't afford it and you want to support what I do and want to help me break even on this project. But again, only do that if you can afford it. If you can't, that's perfectly fine. I hope you'll learn a ton from watching and following this free course. Beyond that, if you follow this course and you enjoy my teaching style, perhaps look into my other courses. If you like this video, then I think you will really like my turn-based strategy course. That is the perfect course to follow up on this one. It dives even deeper into some of the concepts used here, and it will help you make the jump from beginner to advanced. And since you're interested in Unity, I think my Ultimate Unity Overview course would also be very useful to you. Each lecture on that course is focused on teaching one Unity tool or feature. There's already over 50 lectures, including plenty of small but very important things that you just wouldn't see in a regular YouTube video. If you're interested in visual scripting, I have a course on making 3 unique games entirely with visual scripting and no code at all. Or if you prefer code, you can learn how to build a nice Builder Defender game. So if you enjoy my teaching style in this free course, then check out my other ones. Then of course YouTube has channel memberships and super thanks, so you can use those if you want. I also have my Patreon if you prefer that. And in a lot of my videos I have some affiliate links. If you ever pick up anything through those, I get a nice commission. And I also have some of my own assets on the Unity Asset Store. So if you enjoy this free course and you want to support what I do, there's plenty of ways. But again, don't feel obligated. If you can't afford it or you just don't want to, that's perfectly fine. I hope you'll learn a ton from watching and following this free course. Alright, so that's enough talk of that for now. Before we begin building the game from scratch, let's inspect the final polished game that we're going to build. So let's see that in the next lecture.